All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Bungo Stray Dogs, Season 3, Episode 4.
Ah, all right.
Got the backstory.
Backstory was really good,
Yep.
and it seemed to conclude on some level.
Right.
Although that was some really good focus on the Port Mafia as a whole.
Yes.
They could continue that in some measure.
Sure.
Because there was a little bit of a continuing kind of...
Right.
thing
Chuya
left
would then
open.
do this and all that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we could see that next and not jump immediately back to the present.
Right.
So that could
But
be pretty cool.
personally, I would love to jump back to the present, or at the very least, if it is going to still be in the past, get some Dostoevsky, because he was a really cool character design, and you know, it's been a while since we've seen him.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. But okay, season 3 going strong. Nice, tight little arc in the beginning.
Yep.
Let's see what they choose to do structure-wise for this next bit. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, we basically just get an episode on Dostoevsky and a new character that's set up to be his launching pad into this story.
Right.
I love this. I love this because we don't really have a connection to Dostoevsky really before this episode, like an investment in him beyond like the excitement of, well, it's Dostoevsky, and his power is called crime and punishment, so that's
we
just
got
exciting.
that kind of the little bit with him teased in the Dead Apple movie,
right?
Yeah.
But this was a way to say, oh, you see this Ace guy? Yeah, you don't really care about him, of course.
Right.
But don't worry. By the end of this episode, you won't feel bad for not caring about him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like as far as the structure, the idea of you bring in a character that we previously did not know existed, and then build him up, and then have him be, you know, sacrificed basically for the new character that you're introducing, you know,
or the character that's been slightly teased, but we need to
we need to
cement him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We need their competence to be displayed for us, right? That's, you know, tale as old as time. Yep. Cool. Awesome. Normally, I would say the fact that you're doing it with a character that we haven't met until now would make it be something I would be much less interested in. But the fact that they spent the whole episode on it and did really a lot of cool stuff to build up Ace, right?
Yeah.
Both with his like style and everything, which is like
his
half of what Bungo's about.
Yep.
But then also just the things that he was doing of being really ruthless, having good plans to the stuff that he was doing and whatnot. Yeah, cool. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And then it's just no. That's just how supremely badass and awesome Dostoevsky is.
Yeah, and it's the classic, you know, anime fight of a JoJo's fight of where it's like, I plan to run your plan. No, I plan to run your plan. I plan to run your plan. No,
I did all these very detailed, specific things to make sure that you came to the conclusion that reality was a lie. You know,
I love that. It literally, you were mentioning like earlier that it reminds you of Johan. It literally is. He Johanned Ace. Like, he took all the things that he would check naturally and to be like, okay, in the time upon which that I will need, you know, this whole thing to go down. I need to screw this up in the time that he left. Now, I thought what was going to happen is that the second that Ace left, he was going to kill everyone and just walk out, right? Like, he was going to use his ability in some way and just get out.
Right.
Nope.
Didn't need to. Didn't want to.
I love that Ace was scary enough as a threat that he needed to beat him without making Ace feel like he needed to use his ability.
Sure, and that he specifically... This is one of the things that I really appreciated. Is how the entire episode basically revolved around the idea of, hey, in this world with superpowers, it sure would be a bad thing if someone else knew what your power was, wouldn't it?
Right.
You know, like that would really suck.
That would really suck.
If they don't know and you keep them from finding out, it doesn't really matter what in the hell your power is.
Right.
You are probably going to beat them. Yep. Because, like Ace said, knowledge is power, right? Or information is power. So his own words were turned against him, and then the very thing that the thing that Dostoevsky is after is not the gems or anything like that. It's the list of the abilities of the Port Mafia.
Yeah, he could hold the whole Port Mafia hostage.
Sure. Well,
he could make them all go after the ADA and be like, kill them all. Just
sure. But even then, like, even if he didn't want to do that, like, because one of the things that I love that he brought up here, which is like an additional, like, you know, don't show your hand kind of a thing,
right?
Is that, oh, this will lose about half of its value if they know that I have it, right?
But which it still has half of its value.
Still has half of its value, which is, you know, a lot. But the idea that it's no. I'm also not. I'm like I love how Dostoevsky, with how cool he was.
Yeah.
Didn't often brag.
Right.
Like the one time that he bragged really was to the kid, and that was
after this had all worked out.
It was after it had all worked out, and really, you know, how much of that was Dostoevsky wanting to brag versus, you know, the creator being like, hey,
I need to tell the viewer,
right? And then because of course he's not going to like let anyone know about that stuff, you know, then he kills the kid, right?
Right. And also I think it's like a thing where you can listen to his voice and you can tell that there is some ego in it, but there's very little.
Right. And that's something that I appreciate in a show like Bungou, because with the amount of style and just flair that the show has and the characters have and everything, having a character that understands that can be really overrated is huge for making me invested in them, but also terrified of them and the threat that they pose. Because he has the list. I could totally see him just spend the next, you know, however long he feels like, just doing hits every once in a while. Just, you know, and this is the reasoning to the audience of this is how he's going to do it so perfectly.
Right.
Because he's going to go after people based on their abilities, you know, and maybe, you know, Port Mafia members will just start dropping or disappearing, right?
Sure. I love that they also built up an inevitable conclusion with him and Moriogai, because Mori is one of those characters that is a constantly underestimated terror. He is so unassuming at times, and yet he looks like an old vampire.
Yep.
And you're like, whoa, wait, the girl that's with him is his ability?
Yeah.
And he's the leader of the Port Mafia, and yet you never really see him doing anything.
Right. He doesn't actually do any of the dirty work, but you know that apparently he used to, you know, in his younger years.
We saw him in the space in the end of season 1. Yeah.
Yep.
And
so
okay. Also, really fun little detail. All the things that he did to basically, you know, fool Ace, he did it with the kid being there.
Oh.
So, what's cool about this was that the kid was rooting for him to beat Ace.
Right.
Because he's like, maybe you'll free me. Maybe you will.
And he did.
And he did.
Not the way he wanted.
I loved the fact that because we didn't see it happen, there's a couple things we have to slightly maybe assume is that either he did it with his ability and the kid didn't see it at all.
Sure.
Like some aspect of what his ability is, he did it. Because there's a possibility that he does do some mind-affecting things that aided the illusion that he was creating with just basic action, right? But the idea of stuffing cork in the lock, that's something that he could sleight of hand. The clock, though, with wine, that would need to be very, like, careful.
Because otherwise you could probably see the tampering. Because it's not just that he needs the things to break. He needs the things to break in ways that, you know, will...
Perfect. They won't, unbreak, basically.
Well, and seem like it's because of a magical ability, not because you stuffed cork in the lock or poured wine on it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't let any wine be shown, you know, like from the outside of the clock.
So, either his ability aided these actions to be done in a way that worked out, or there were actions that were taken by the other characters that made it so this happened on some level. And the thing that's interesting is that there was a point, I believe, where when the wine bottle was smashed, I was like, that's really like specific and like ruthless and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, the wine didn't seemed to like Dostoevsky seems fine with this. I was like wondering maybe that was like something that like gave him the idea or whatever. I don't know. I don't know, because then there'd be wine all over the floor. And
stuff. But maybe that's how he also like helped cover it up, because it's like, oh, you smashed a wine bottle. There's wine kind of, you know, in different places. So, you know, he might,
if you see wine on the clock
randomly, you know, you might not think much of it because you just smashed a bottle over my head.
Right. So there were things that I feel like before he did anything, because Ace hadn't left yet at that point, I think that that's basically hints of setting up for the actual actions to take place. But my favorite one, potentially, that could have happened, and this is a little bit of a leap, but the poker game they were playing was 5-card draw. Like, that's most likely what poker game they were playing.
Yep.
We never saw them switch out cards, but the fact that he had a straight flush and diamonds, which is statistically impossible, basically, like so improbable.
Yeah,
you will never see one really in your life. 5-card draw is one of the easiest versions of poker to get that high of a hand in.
And they did have jokers in the deck, which that does make it a bit easier.
They did. But either way, having 3 rounds to cycle out cards from the deck, basically, that's I think the version they were playing. I think Dostoevsky intentionally made his hand as bad as possible.
Oh, I think so, because it was close to the worst possible hand you could have.
It was one of the worst possible hands. A 10 high with nothing suit-wise matching beyond 2 cards.
And no pairs or anything.
No pairs.
And like not even close to a straight. They're like very
lowest
broken
card was
up.
a 3. Yeah.
So
that was just a little detail that my poker mind went, and I said, that's impossible to have the diamond straight flush, which I'm thinking rule of cool for anime.
Yeah.
But then I saw this guy who seems to be like a super smart kind of character just in general. There's no way he would have this hand.
Right. I figured it as kind of like a blasé, semi sort of Dazai kind of like, all right, really, really depressed or whatever. So he doesn't try to do things, Sure. So it's just, oh, sure, terrible hand. Yeah, that sounds about my lot in life, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, this is my crime and punishment.
Right.
It's just being unlucky.
Yeah. Because it is one of those things, though, whenever I see in stories, poker be used as like a way to build up the badassery of the opponent and it's or of the people, and it's like
they do the wrong things.
Well, they either do the wrong things or just the idea that poker is not about what kind of a good hand you can get. It's about how you can fool the other person into whether or not you have a good hand.
That's why probably the best instance of poker in my mind in anime is Jotaro making Darby just go gray with like believing with his bluff there. That was probably like the best moment I've ever seen with that in anime. Anyway, this episode giving us all of it essentially for this fight was a really cool Bungou style fight, and I want to see this again with characters like Dazai or Dopo, Body Ogai. Like a lot of characters who rely on their ability but are also very intelligent.
Right. And because one of the things that's really fun about this is that we still don't know what his ability is.
Nope.
Now, we saw his ability be used.
Yes.
Which, okay, that's good to know. But for the most part, it seems like a pretty basic ability. But
there might just be telekinesis.
Yeah, but there were some things about it that seemed a bit odd. So
So I can bring up the scene where he does that.
Yeah. When he kills the kid, right? Okay,
he touches him.
Seems like it could be a basic bad touch, right? But with the presentation of it, it seemed like there might be something more like esoteric than just I cause physical harm to you going on. The flash of light and all that stuff. And there was the blood spurt from his head and everything. And looking at it, but
it doesn't come from a wound.
It didn't seem to come from a wound. Yeah. Now maybe it's just that it's like under his hair or something, right?
Sure.
But when he fell, it didn't seem like he was bloody or anything. And then there's blood on the floor. Now, maybe that's just something where the camera work doesn't show what exactly he did, but it still was something physical. But
I think it's the point that we as the audience are not meant to know his ability until the grand reveal when we find out what it is.
Right. And because of the kind of person he is, he probably will never actually do a grand reveal of it. Right.
Well, he won't.
Yeah, he won't. Right.
Someone like Dazai, for instance,
might be able to parse it out.
Could be able to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in Bungou we have some actual crazy abilities and crazy intelligence on the characters. Watch. The person that is actually his biggest threat is not Dazai. It's Edogawa Rampo.
Yes.
because if he gets properly motivated, then it's just like,
that's your ability.
That's your ability. That's what you're after.
And Dostoevsky's like, fuck!
Right.
What? How did he know? And then Rampo's like, But I'm not gonna tell anybody.
Right.
I need chips. I need soda. Yeah. I need a new Xbox. I would like a flat screen TV.
So watch. He went through all this to get the Port Mafia's abilities, right? And it's like, okay, that's cool. And then he goes through all of this again somehow to get the ADA's abilities.
And there's this one character named
like,
Edgar Rampo,
and he just starts sweating
just
bullets.
says question mark, and he's just like,
whoa. Or even if he figures out that it's like, crazy super intelligence, right? It's just shit. Because, if you have a person who's really intelligent and another person who's really intelligent, then it can get really tough because it can get a lot easier to predict what the other person will do because you know that they'll go for the best opportunity. So then you have to do some level of like misdirects of like suboptimal options, to throw them off.
Onosaku in the future gunfight all over again, where they're just going to be sitting there just like
Dostoevsky. Like, and both of their kind of blasé attitudes, I feel like
honestly though, Dostoevsky at this point, he could Johann Edgar Rampo. He could actually convince him to leave this existence.
Does Edgar Rampo care enough about anything in order to actually kill himself?
Yeah. There's a couple things that he definitely
Sex?
cares. No, like the idea that he's. Like,
oh sure,
like his own.
He could just take him apart psychologically because of the whole thing with his ability. Yeah, right, totally.
Yeah. It would be easy, I think, for someone this just ruthless and just.
No, right.
Cruel.
So the real counter, of course, is as to be expected, Desai.
Yeah.
Because it's all right, now you want to kill yourself, so it's another Monday.
Right. Oh shit, you're right. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Desai starts grabbing rope. He's like,
oh, that's a good idea. They end up bonding over it. They become good friends. As they're like, all right,
they did kind of bond a little bit in the movie.
That's true. That's true.
So, all right, this will be cool. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. So you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if ain't that interest, you will see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.